Welcome to Optimistic Wellness. I'm Josh Lipovetsky. Thanks for watching. Today we're going to talk about language, and not specifically learning foreign languages. There's tips, there's tons of websites with tips about that, but the benefits of learning a language. And I'm going to be talking specifically about Japanese, Nihongo, and my journey learning it. So, I started learning Japanese when I was about 14. I saw the movie Battle Royale. And despite it being a ridiculously violent movie, it's kind of like The Hunger Games, but much better. Despite that, the movie has some really sharp cultural messages that I really resonated with, things that you would never see in an American movie. And it really helped me fall in love with the Japanese language and culture. A few years later, I found fluentin3months.com, which is Benny Lewis's website, and he kind of awoke the language learning fire within me, that you don't have to be this polyglot and some kind of really special person in order to learn a language. Anyone can do it, and that's what he does over at his website. Highly recommended that you check it out. It helped me so much. So in this post, I'm going to go into more in-depth into 4 reasons why you should learn a language. Let's get right into it. First one, cultural benefits. Learning a new culture is something that you can't fully learn a culture until you completely immerse yourself into the language. You can't know without knowing the language. And if you travel, that's wonderful. But if you can't travel, you can still immerse yourself in a culture. And I do this through sharedtalk.com. That's sharedtalk.com. I speak with a native Japanese speaker who's enthusiastic about teaching me Japanese and enthusiastic about learning English. Knowing English is such an advantage in the world. So that's one reason, learning the culture. And sharedtalk.com is a great way to do it, through interacting one-on-one with the people of the culture, of the language that you're learning. Second reason is you'll learn so much more about your own psychology. Language learning is like daily stretching, in a way. It's like going to a gym for the mind. And in many ways, I believe going to a gym for the mind and working out in the mind is much more difficult than working out in a gym lifting weights, which I do love as well. You get intimately acquainted with your capacity, and you can tell what your capacity is when you start getting frustrated. I have an example. When I first went to sharedtalk.com and I thought I knew a lot of Japanese, I spoke with a native speaker and he was speaking to me completely normally, as if I was a native Japanese speaker, and I did not understand 90% of what he said, and I got really frustrated. And that's when I found out what my limit was. And now I'm working all the time to up that limit. You won't know until you try. That's the point I'm making here. Number 3, you will learn how to reconnect with your passion, because it will be kind of inevitable, for me it was at least, that the passion faded away. And the reason was, I disconnected with what made me passionate about Japanese in the first place, and that was watching Japanese movies, dramas, J-drama, that's what they call TV shows in Japan, and reading Japanese literature from authors like Haruki Murakami and Natsume Soseki. Those are pretty good authors. And the 4th reason for studying a language is there are so many quirks in each of the languages. For example, in Japanese, there's a word. It's called, look, I drew it right here. It's amairu. That's how you pronounce it, amairu. And amairu, A-M-A-E-R-U, is a concept that means, it's a verb that means to depend upon another person's benevolence. Whoa. They do not have that word in the English language. It's really a complicated word, and I've linked up an article with more. It's some really cool phrases in Japanese. There's one like shikatta ga nai. Shikatta ga nai means there is nothing that could be done. Just roll with the punches, kind of. It's really good stuff. So there is, in a nutshell, just 4 quick reasons why you should learn a language. There are a ton more out there if you just research different languages. Again, I recommend fluentin3months.com and sharedtalk.com to start you off on the language learning journey. It is very much worth it. And here is a great way to determine if this is worth doing for you. I look back at all the time I've spent studying Japanese. I do not regret 1 second of it. If this is something that you have a feeling that you just know you can look back on, whatever language you want to learn, and say, I will not regret learning that, then I highly recommend that you do. Thanks for watching. Optimism is the only way.